Anishinaabe Ikwe, Gaye Timiskaming, Nin Donjaba. My name is Diana Wabi. I'm an Algonquin Anishinaabe woman, and this is my home, Timiskaming First Nation. At this time, I would like to invite our elders to do opening prayer, Elder Bertha Chief, Elder Jimmy Hunter, and Elder Marilyn Chevrier-Wills. In our audience this evening, we have elders from our community as well as other communities, and I'd like to invite them to come up as well for the opening prayer. Pijanama.
Habajo. Gishkate kwe dishnakas mangdodem. My spirit name is Moonlight Woman. I'm Loon Clan, and I'm an elder here from TFN, Notre Dame Jana, and welcome all of you to our community. And it's a very special last couple of days, and I want to say miigwech to the Creator, God as you understand Him, to look upon us in a good way, because what we are doing here today, Creator, is a very special moment to have all those beautiful artifacts and community people from other places to be here with us today. So I pray that I pray to the four powers of creation, the Grandmother Moon, Mother Earth, and our ancestors. I pray for my relations with nature, all those who walk, crawl, fly, swim, seen and unseen, to the great spirits that exist in every part of creation. Creator, I ask that you bless our leaders, our caregivers, our seniors, our elders, our children, our unborn children, family and friends. And we pray to our winged, our four-legged, our birds, our eagles, all of creation, because that is part of our way of life. So, miigwech, Creator, for bringing this here today, that we have a safe place to come and do our things. And I pray that you just have a good evening, and miigwech, kagagana.
Miigwech, thank you. Merci. Jimmy Hunter Nijnakas, Oman Duji, TFN, one away, can I say what Anishinaabe can Duji, Mikuekadian. My name is Jimmy Hunter. Well, what I just said is I'm from TFN. I'm also from Long Point, but most importantly, I'm from Anishinaabe Key. Algonquin Anishinaabe Key is very big, as we all know. So I don't like to say that I'm from a certain community or anything like that, because the Indian Affairs said that to me, that I belong over there, and so as far as I'm concerned, I belong to Anishinaabe. It doesn't matter what community I go to. So with that, I'm honored to be here tonight, this evening, to recognize the artifacts that are here, that are displayed here today. I think it's very important to know that Algonquin Anishinaabe has been around for many thousands of years, and I know for a fact that they found some of that in Ubadjuan, the old fort they call it. But I know for a fact that Algonquin people lived all over the Ottawa River, because most of my life was spent by the banks of the Ottawa River, and I know my ancestor lived by the Ottawa River. So you can imagine how much artifacts are underwater with all the dams that took place. And I think about it, not only the artifacts, but even our own people that were buried along the rivers in the old days, So, but that's the way it is now. Now today we live here in Algonquin people. We talk about truth and reconciliation because I'm a residential school survivor, and I think we have a long ways to go with that. And it's good to talk about that, and it's good to see because we're all creation of one Creator. Even though we have different languages and all that, but we're all one, children of creators. So, Kachimigwich, merci beaucoup pour asseoir. Mon nom c'est Jimmy Hunter, puis je viens comme je disais tout à l'heure, pour moi je viens de TFN, Timiskaming First Nation, puis en même temps Wenaway. Mais c'est plus important, c'est que je viens de la terre le territoire de Anishinaabe, parce que j'ai toujours vécu, pas juste dans une réserve, mais j'ai été élevé en dehors de la réserve, dans le bois. Puis j'ai même marché dans le bois toute seule à l'âge de 11 ans, sans le GPS. Puis c'est pour ça que je connais le territoire amérindien, Anishinaabe. Puis ça me fait plaisir d'être ici parmi vous à soir. Puis j'espère que vous allez avoir une belle soirée. Miigwech, thank you.
Chinish na bemanan. Ogama benes ndish na kaznan. Ogish kamen sin do dem. Kaye mekanak. Miigwech vendano ma edishnani boyan. Shitke minobija shikna we gumaga dewaj. Kada manashno ban kana we gnasid tam wapen no way di nishnabe one way di tam gishwe one way di aki. It would be nice if everybody could understand the first language of our territory. My English name is Berta Mezinigijik Chief. That's my government name. My Anishinaabe name is Chief Thunderbird. I teach the language, and it's not as simple as teaching. Because there's not that many speakers, and it makes it really difficult. But our ancestors did speak Anishinaabe, and I'm sure they have a lot of stories that with the artifacts on both sides, and I'm interested in stories and stuff like that, especially the legends. And every artifact has a story, and we lost so much as Anishinaabe people. It's like everything was taken from us, it seemed like. And so I'll just say a prayer for all of us, to include everybody. Bonjour, j'aime Ogamabanes, Nishnakaz, Ogishman Sindo them. Dan Mikage, Niwan Kajamashkona Weg, Shitchgage Pamig. ID, Kishakwe, Wabinoke. Kimoshum nan and Nimiki, Kirokmanan, the Becky Jesus. Kinosmanan Jesus, a Shitchgage Gana and the key. Kanagadan the Kamanan, Goma Gagiba, the Shikuagabanen, Kanan Danimekwag, Shitchgage Gagan, the Sokas Waj, Nana Bojo, Shinakazo, Bejak, Nana Dawe go just the Kana on Wiske, Michigan, Quebec Kanomage, Nigumage, Kawinwa, Danimakwag the Shige. The Mekwen Dan way dear key, Miigwech Dan way dear key, Kanawe sees a Kamos Seaj, Miss Sewaj, Pimadagewaj, Shitke, Pimadawaj. Mekwendan gain ni bi kanaga majog kana sagi ganan sibin kana any ne gazet kun kana edi ni bi Panamagi bamendagi ganan de mek kajamna madzi kinmat keminwa kinmat gagwe de yamatawan kana wego kag kana shomasak kokmasak kana gadan keminanak abanoji Negigog, Kibiji Wagananak, a Shishkwen Mekwen Mage Gega, Kuziwa, Jakuzigamag, Kat Konagane watch, a Shishken Mekwendan, Mekwenamag, Kaunika Nagana watch, Ega Magade watch, Mekwenamage. Mekwenamage, Ega Gawiga, Kawigi on watch, Kasn again Jiggy watch, Kakskendam watch. Gagwe de menena medwan ka kana wego kak me shi gusen jigiano gajiga gishemendo shwen mashnan gishemendo shwen mashnan gishemendo shwen mashnan gishemendo shwen mashnan oh miigwach.
You may be seated. Miigwech to our elders for the words of wisdom, inspiration, and for future hope for our nation. At this point, I'd like to introduce our drummers, and they are going to do a couple of songs for us. Okay? And the first song that you'll be doing is, they're going to be doing the welcoming song. Chimigwich to our drummers. It moves our soul to hear that. At this point of our program, it is my honor to introduce our community leader, Ogimau Vicky Chief.
I'd first like to thank our elders for their opening prayers. And I think it's important and pertinent to acknowledge the reason we're all here today, to welcome these, we say artifacts, but these are items that belong to our Anishinaabe people. And I would like to take a moment to honor the ancestors who these items belong to. And to everybody else, miigwech for coming. Parks Canada, welcome. And miigwech to Colleen and Kathy and Susie, who put this event together. Miigwech, everyone.
It's me again. This evening, we have a presentation from Parks Canada, and I'd like to share a little bit of history. A few years ago, a team of us from our community, Colleen Paulson, Kathy Paulson, myself, Diana Wabi, and Allison McBride, we had a meeting in Gatineau with Parks Canada. Part of our meeting was to see these artifacts. We'd never seen them before. We were sitting having our meeting, and then it came to a point in the meeting where we were invited to come and have a look. It was very interesting. We saw things in cases. We didn't know the history and the stories, but we certainly knew that these pieces had spirit. They had the spirits of our ancestors. They handled these items. They created something with them. But something that moved me speechless, and I like to talk. I looked into one of the cases, and there was a string of beads there. And in the string of beads, there were white beads, red beads, yellow beads. I stopped. I could not speak. The Parks Canada people were asking us, well, what do you think of all these things? I couldn't speak. Because what I saw in the beads on that string, the first item that I've ever beaded in my life was those colors. And it's here. I'm wearing that item tonight. What I saw was a connection. As Anishinaabe people, we dream the dreams of our ancestors. Things that are created like birch bark canoes, beadwork, porcupine quill work. These are all things that our ancestors had once done. So today, when we are able to do this, when our creative spirit is reawakened and we can create things, it's not because you're so talented. We are innately connected to our ancestors. And when I saw the beads and I recalled the item that I had created, it was such a powerful connection to my ancestors. I was left speechless. My heart was pounding, and I was so grateful to have that experience. So the day we were at the meeting, Kathy and Colleen and I and Allison, we looked at the beads and we looked at the other objects that were on the table. We were all left speechless because there's a connection to us with our ancestors through the artifacts that are so carefully taken care of by Parks Canada for us. From the meeting, the conversation went that at some point we need to bring these artifacts to our community, bring them home for a visit. And I say a visit because at this point in our community, Colleen, who is a band counselor, she has shared with me that the band certainly would like to have the artifacts returned, but only when we are ready, only when we have a temperature, humidity controlled museum facility where we have trained workers to care for our own artifacts. Until that time, our artifacts are in the care and trust of Parks Canada, and we are grateful for them for taking care of such sacred objects for us. Just needed a little air there. From the work with Parks Canada, Timiskaming First Nation spent 20 years in negotiation with Parks Canada and TFN. We are the only First Nation in Canada, and please, TFN, be proud of who we are. We are the only First Nation in Canada that has an agreement with a National Historic Site, the Government of Canada, to be managing partners, 50-50 partnership in managing what's called the Obadjuan Old Fort Timiskaming site. So anything that occurs on that site is done in consultation with Timiskaming First Nation. We are a model for other First Nation communities in Canada who are also seeking to partner with National Historic Sites that house and take care of their artifacts and sacred items that belong to their communities. And it's quite an achievement. When this came to fruition, what we did is there was a meeting at the Old Fort, Obadjuan, and it was a meeting with Timiskaming First Nation and Parks Canada to actually sign the agreement called the Trust Patrimony Agreement at that time. And we're very fortunate this evening that the, do we call you former chief, past chief? Wayne Mackenzie was chief at the time. Wayne came down to the fort. CBC television did a story, and we have the clip here, so I'm not going to say anything more, and we'll just watch the clip from CBC. And what's really interesting is we had this evening, the drummers were sitting, and we put the clip up just briefly. I didn't say anything that we had this clip, and Wayne stops. The drummers are all commenting, "That's you," but he's not singing. So we'll share this clip with you, and it's from CBC Canada. Thank you.
It's very sacred, especially in these trees here. You could just feel the goodness. History dances on in these ancient woods, where the Algonquin are buried and remembered. They sang songs on these grounds, and their home became a place of sharing as newcomers ventured deeper into their lands.
Well, the voyageurs, they had very long days, so they used to sing to give themselves courage. C'est dans le mois de mai.
For centuries, the Algonquin and the European fur traders met right here, a perfect spot. 21 days to Montreal and the markets, 25 days to Hudson's Bay and the trading posts. Back then, this was a key meeting point for both communities, and now, hundreds of years later, they're coming together again.
The Canadian government is really focused on, its commitment to the reconciliation. So Parks Canada was really open to work with the community.
The site the Algonquin call Obadjuan, meaning the strait where the current flows, is now being added to the National Historic Site's official name, as it's reimagined to include more of an Indigenous perspective. After more than 20 years of negotiations, the federal government has transferred half of Parks Canada's ownership to a trust for Timiskaming First Nation, giving the community equal say on how the museum, tours, and burial sites are treated.
And I really believe that our community has set the groundwork for other First Nations across Canada to engage in these kinds of negotiations and to come to this point where National Historic Sites are celebrating the First Nations presence as well as the European settlers that came.
A lesson in patience and persistence that eventually convinced Ottawa into a compromise so future generations can learn about the Algonquin culture.
I know who I am. I am a descendant of a strong, proud, hard-working people. I know who I am. I am Anishinaabe. I am Algonquin.
And so the newfound connection with the sacred land can be passed on. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, near Ville-Marie, Quebec.
So we thought that doing this presentation would provide an opportunity for you to learn how this all became to be. At this point, I'm going to turn the floor over to Parks Canada, and they're going to do a presentation on Obajuwan, on the artifacts. And who am I inviting up? Simon. So you will introduce everyone again.
Bonjour, Simon Lacaire, Parc Canada. Je suis gestionnaire du lieu historique national d'Obajuwan Fort Timiskaming. Je recommence. Bonjour. Obajuwan Fort Timiskaming, c'est un lieu historique national, mais c'est bien plus, parce qu'Obajuwan signifierait en algonquin, parmi certaines définitions, détroit du lac, ou là où les rives se rapprochent. Puis ce rapprochement-là, on le voit aussi chez les humains, puis les peuples qui ont vécu, qui ont fréquenté le lieu historique Obajuwan Fort Timiskaming. Puis il y a eu un brassage de culture puis de savoir assez exceptionnel. C'est un lieu de rencontre et d'échange. C'est dans cet esprit-là qu'a vu le jour un mode de gouvernance qui est assez particulier pour Obajuwan Fort Timiskaming. Puis, je voulais vous présenter, en fait, c'était qui le comité fiduciaire dont on a entendu parler un petit peu plus tôt. Il est composé de 8 membres, 4 membres nommés par Obajuwan Corporation, 3 qui sont issus du milieu du Timiskaming, puis qui sont nommés par Parc Canada, puis un représentant de Parc Canada. Donc, ça ressemble à ceci. Pour Timiskaming First Nation, il y a Alison McBride, qui est coprésidente, Colleen Paulson, Catherine Paulson-Grou, Hank Rogers et Diana Wabi, qui est également très présente. Puis du côté du Timiskaming, on a Claude Gagnon, qui est coprésident, Claire Bolduc, Jean Cotton et Daniel Baudin, ici présents, pour Parc Canada. Puis le comité se réunit 2 à 3 fois par année. Puis le premier projet concret qui voit le jour, c'est justement cette exposition temporaire d'artefacts avec la communauté. Donc, on est content de voir un projet concret à vous présenter. Ça fait plus... c'est ça, on comprend un peu plus vers où on s'en va. Puis maintenant, j'ai le plaisir de vous présenter TJ Hammer, qui est le directeur des collections, de la conservation et de l'archéologie pour Parc Canada.
Good evening, everyone, and first off, I would like to thank the Timiskaming First Nation for welcoming us to their territory. I have a very short. What you wanted up? It's never happened to Bruce Springsteen, for goodness sakes. Anyway, I have a very, very short presentation, just one slide, so I won't take much of your time. I work for Parks Canada as the Director of Collections, Curatorial and Archaeology. I have a privilege to work with the archaeological collections that Parks Canada cares for. And would just like to say is that we administer 174 national historic sites, 46 national parks and 6 national marine conservation areas and 1 national urban park. And from those, we have approximately 31 million objects that are under our care. Now, the vast majority of those are archaeological, related to settler history. However, there's approximately 5 to 10% of those that are Indigenous in origin, and we are the caretakers of them for now. And I think the Obajuwan Fort Timiskaming site is an incredible model on which to follow, and a collaboration on how collections can be accessed and how they can be managed. And it truly is a privilege to work with these collections and a vast majority of professionals that work across the country in caring for these objects for future and present Canadians. So with that, I will stop with that, and I'll introduce Michel Claude, qui est un archéologue à Parc Canada, qui vient de la ville de Quebec, and he will talk more specifically about the archaeological indigenous collection that came from Obajuwan. Michel?
Bonsoir tout le monde. Alors, je devrais vous dire en commençant que c'est un honneur pour moi d'être ici ce soir. Et j'aimerais remercier la communauté pour son accueil très chaleureux. J'ai aussi eu l'occasion d'entendre des témoignages des membres de la communauté, des idées par rapport aux artefacts. Et pour moi, c'est essentiel. Je vais vous dire quelques mots, en fait, sur les fouilles archéologiques qui ont été menées sur le site Obadjuan, Fort Timiskaming. Dans les années 70, donc il y a 50 ans environ, il y a une équipe d'archéologues qui s'est présentée sur les lieux pour fouiller certaines parties du site. Là, sur l'image, vous voyez probablement des carrés bleu pâle. Ce sont les zones de fouilles archéologiques. Et le but, en fait, des excavations, c'était de documenter spécialement le fort en tant que tel. Donc, la vie au fort, les bâtiments, les activités, les éléments qui sont rattachés au commerce des fourrures. Et pendant les fouilles, les archéologues ont également découvert dans le sol des artefacts autochtones qui sont reliés à des occupations dont les plus anciennes peuvent remonter à 6000 ans. Alors, ce qui veut dire qu'il y a une présence autochtone dès cette période-là. Et ces occupations-là, il y en a eu tout au long donc, dès 6000 ans jusqu'à la période d'occupation du fort et pendant aussi la période d'activité du fort. On peut passer à la prochaine. Vous avez ici un plan de la Compagnie de la baie du Son qui date de 1888. Alors, l'équipe d'archéologues qui s'est présentée sur le site en 1971 s'est basée, en fait, sur ce plan-là, sachant qu'il y avait ces bâtiments présents. Alors, l'objectif, c'était de retracer la position exacte de chacun des bâtiments et de vérifier, en fait, si la fonction là, qui est indiquée sur le plan était bel et bien la bonne. Alors, il y a eu beaucoup de découvertes des assises des bâtiments. On peut voir ici certaines traces. Alors, tout était au sol ou dans le sol. Il n'y avait aucun bâtiment encore debout. Et donc, on s'est attaché à vraiment fouiller minutieusement là, toute la surface. Et on est passé d'un plan de la baie du Son à un plan dressé par des archéologues sur lequel on peut voir la position exacte de chacun des bâtiments. Et il y a quelques rapports qui ont été écrits là-dessus, donc qui décrivent en détail la vie au fort là, entre les années environ 1720 et 1850, si je ne me trompe pas. Vous avez ici une diapo qui montre les fouilles qui ont eu lieu après 1971, donc vous pouvez voir les années. Des équipes d'archéologues de Parc Canada sont revenus sur le site pour faire des fouilles ou des sondages en réponse à des aménagements. Ce qui est important de savoir, c'est que dès que Parc Canada fait des travaux sur le site, aménager des sentiers, creuser le sol, il est important que des archéologues interviennent avant ces travaux-là pour être certains de préserver les données archéologiques. Et vous voyez ici les chiffres de couleur rouge vous indiquent le nombre d'artefacts autochtones qui ont été découverts sur le site. Et on peut constater que la plupart sont localisés sur la pointe. Donc vraiment, c'est un lieu stratégique. C'est là que s'installaient les ancêtres autochtones. Donc ils ont érigé des campements. Malheureusement, toute la surface du sol qui est rattachée au fort a été bouleversée par la construction du fort. Donc tout ce qui pouvait être campement autochtone, donc des foyers, des traces de pieux, tout ça, ça a disparu malheureusement. Alors, on est devant une collection, en fait, un ensemble d'artefacts pêle-mêle, à partir desquels on a tenté, en fait, de recréer l'histoire. Donc, on n'a pas beaucoup d'indices. Je vais vous parler rapidement de quelques objets, donc des objets particulièrement intéressants. Cet objet-là, on appelle ça un cône clinquant. C'est un objet décoratif. C'était fait à partir de cuivre, probablement à partir de chaudrons de cuivre apportés par les Européens, qui étaient découpés en petites lanières et qui étaient martelés et transformés pour en faire en fait, ce sont des bijoux, ce sont des parures. Et puis, quand elles étaient en fait rattachées aux vêtements, ça produisait un son clair. C'est pour ça qu'on appelle ça des cônes clinquants. Ça clinquait, en fait. Okay. Encore une fois, un exemple d'un élément qui a été fabriqué à partir d'un chaudron de cuivre. Donc, on détachait des petites parties de chaudron de cuivre qu'on pouvait marteler pour amincir. Et dans ce cas-ci, on a ce qui ressemble en fait à une pointe de projectile, une pointe de flèche triangulaire. Et on peut voir sur la partie qui est à gauche un petit trou. Et on peut penser que ça a servi de pendentif. Alors ça peut dater des environs des années 1700 ou 1800. Vous avez ici un exemple de perles en os. Les perles en os sont très rares. Je vous dirais qu'au fort Timiskaming, ce sont surtout des perles de verre qui ont été découvertes. Il y en a environ 3500 à date. Et sur les tables, là, vous avez un bel échantillon que vous pouvez voir donc, devant vous. Un bel exemple ici. Alors, les perles de verre, vous le savez probablement, étaient des éléments qui servaient à la décoration des vêtements, qui étaient tissés sur le cuir, donc les peaux d'animaux, par exemple. Vous avez ici une pipe en pierre. Donc, on ne connaît pas la source de la pierre, malheureusement, là, mais c'est une pierre assez tendre qui était gravée avec un outil particulier. Et ici, malheureusement, on n'a pas l'artefact au complet. On a seulement une petite partie. Et en fait, je vous dirais que c'est le problème qu'on a, les archéologues. On a affaire souvent à des objets qui sont fracturés, qui se sont cassés lors d'utilisation et qui ont été abandonnés comme tels sur le site. Alors, on doit composer avec ça continuellement. Et aussi, on a un gros problème, c'est que tout ce qui était fabriqué en bois ou en os ou en peau a disparu. Ça s'est dégradé dans le sol, naturellement. Alors, on compose avec une toute petite partie des objets qui ont été fabriqués sur le site. Et vous avez l'artefact typique, là, qui est une pointe de projectile en pierre, qui a peut-être été taillée sur place. Et puis, cette pointe-là de projectile, on peut penser qu'elle peut dater entre 3000 et 6000 ans avant aujourd'hui. Donc, c'est un artefact qui permet, entre autres, dater l'occupation. Vous avez aussi des objets qui ne sont pas du tout évidents là, à première vue. Ce genre d'objet-là, qui est de forme carrée, servait à fendre les os pour en extraire la moelle ou pour faire des outils en os également. Donc, c'est un objet en pierre taillée. Et les pierres proviennent de différentes régions. Il y en a qui sont locales, en fait, qui sont à quelques distances du site. Et il y en a d'autres qui sont obtenues par échange, notamment dans la région du Grand Lac Mistassini. Il y a aussi certaines pierres qui pourraient provenir des Grands Lacs, le lac Ontario. Ce qui veut dire qu'il y avait sur le site des groupes qui étaient en contact avec d'autres groupes dans toutes les directions. Alors, on parle ici d'échange, de commerce, surtout. Bien voilà, ça complète la présentation. S'il y a des questions, ne vous gênez pas. Sinon, bien, je laisserai la parole à Diana.
Talking to my forehead here. Okay. Here we go. At this point in our program, I'd like to invite Lindsay Cote. Lindsay Cote is a recent author. He's a drummer. He wears many moccasins. He's going to drum for us this evening. So, Lindsay, please join us up here. Thank you.
Good day. We're going to drive the sound people nuts. Put the mic up. Okay, I'd like everybody to please rise, please. Okay, sit down. I just wanted to know how powerful I was. Sit down. Don't be scared now. Come on, all the non-native folks. Shall we go and shall we run for the door, Mabel? I don't like this low mic. This will probably be my first and last comic act ever. I can't untie my drum, so I'm going to have to do something different. I heard, we were here yesterday. We came to feast those artifacts. And people who don't understand in the feasting process is that the spirits of our ancestors still live in those artifacts. That's why we call them our grandfathers and our grandmothers and so on and so forth. Anybody got nails? Can you just, I'll entertain the crowd. Okay. I don't like mic stands. All right, as I was saying, we feast these things we call sacred items so that the spirit within these items continue to be strong. Remember those rocks, those rocks that these arrowheads are made of were here since the beginning of time, when the earth was made. Thank you. You're a gentleman in a scholar. And it's very important for us to continue to do these things, and it's a very honorable things that everybody's working together here. We have to work together. There is no choice. We're coming into a time that we don't have any choice anymore but to work together. Doesn't matter who you are. You guys are not white. We're not brown. We're not black. We're not yellow. If you take all this flesh that we have on our bodies, peel it away. If you take the bones and peel it away, we are one light. What color light depends on how we conduct our affairs, how we feel towards each other, how we feel towards our earth, how we feel towards our ancestors, and so on and so forth. That's important. That's what we strive for. I want my light to fill the universe. And I do that every day. I try not to talk behind people's backs because that kills my light. I try to be a good man. I'm still working on a good husband. I don't know how that works. Nobody gave me a blueprint on marriage, so I'm still walking ever so lightly here. You know what I mean? Look at it. You can tell the married men out there, don't talk like that. But we have to be able to remember our history. We all have a history. We all share our history. Today is a historic event because we're all standing here talking about a direction we're going to walk with artifacts. It's ground setting. This doesn't happen every day. Usually they have these artifacts tucked away in some basement in some museum or someplace. We're finally being able to say, yes, I can go over there with some tobacco and put it next to my grandfather so my grandfather can come to me in my dreams and say, yes, son, miigwech, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And that's what they do. I knew right away yesterday when I came out and feasted helped feast these artifacts that I was going to have dreams last night. And sure enough, some of these grandfathers came to me last night. And my partner. That's how fast the tobacco works. That's how fast the food works. And it doesn't matter if you're native or non-native. If you take care of something that is sacred, the spirit within that sacred item will come to you. Don't go running for the door when it comes either. I know the lady's going, no, not me. I don't want any of that. I'm going to hit it with a frying pan whenever it comes in. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. But that's the way these things work. So I'm going to sing a song, and it's going to honor these sacred items once more. We sang all the feasting songs that needed to be sung, that was as a requirement. We sang the prayer songs yesterday, which is a protocol for taking care of these items. Remember, there is a protocol to everything that we do as Anishinaabe people. We just have to do it. Do it. Don't pass the buck and say, oh, well, here, Randy said. No, we gotta take upon ourselves to carry these things out, because we're not just doing stuff for ourselves. Remember, we have another generation. I see that little kid over there. We're doing it for them. We don't do things for ourselves. I'm getting too old to do things for myself. I don't like doing things for myself. The only thing I like doing is maybe having a shower once a week, whether I need it or not. It's true. What are you laughing at? I'm going to sing this song, and I want... Is that your phone? You know, back about 400 years ago, they took you out to a big tree and pulled the skin off your body with dull arrow tips. You know that? Very respectful, these radio people, eh? Well, I'm going to let my phone ring. I don't care where I am and what I'm doing. Anyhow, I'm going to sing you a song, and I hope you like it. Remember, it's for them. When you see these guys over here who have such beautiful voices, these men who spend years learning these songs, they don't only sing it for themselves, they sing it for Jiminado, Mishomis, Kukumis, Shkokamakwe, and all the spirits that live here, all the spirits that took care of these items through time. That's what we do it for. We just don't do it because we want to sound good. I don't want to sound good. It doesn't matter how I sound. What matters most is that I sing the songs of my people and try to learn the language of my people. It's coming slowly, but because of what happened in the early 1960s, when many of us were taken away and put in places that we didn't want to live, and that we had to live through what we had to live through. It took a long time to come back to balance, to be able to find the Creator's trail, because it was pretty misty, foggy there for a while. I'm going to sing this song. hey, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh. I'd just like to say one more thing. Miigwech, Jiminado. Miigwech, Kinigewo Mijang, Upchi, Gitchnindam. Miigwech, Nimki, Kukumis, Kimijang, Anshnabe, Winnakozian. Miigwech, Wasiag, Mudujik, Nibijing, Ajik. Beneshiag. Miigwech, Jawanang, Wabanang, Ipingoshmuk, Giwetanang. Miigwech, Shkakamakwe, Miigwech Nibikwe, Miigwech Nanmaguin. Miigwech Bezinawek. Ho.
Thank you.
Me again. At this point, this is where we invite you to feast with us. What we've done is we've served our community elders. The meal is in the hallway there, so you will just go out and help yourself. But before you do that, I'd like to mention that on the table, there are centerpieces that have our 4 medicines in there, as well as stones in the bottom. And those are gifts, so whoever at your table that you choose to give the gift to, it's yours to take home. At this point, I would like to thank all of those who came to share stories with us, and a special thank you to those who listened to our stories. Chimigwich, enjoy your meal.